Hello, everyone. Welcome to our review of Mickey 17. Here I am, the Geek Informant 27. I am joined by my brethren right over here on the left, Rome's 11, Cinematic Sterling 16, and KitchenAid Whiskey Jones 13. We've died many times. Yeah, I've had bad luck. I've stubbed my toe a lot, and it just, my body can't take it. Boom, then it goes. But we are here talk about Bong Joon-ho's latest film. So why don't we just get the fuck into it and talk about the artistry of this wonderful gentleman. So, Mickey 17. Bong Joon-ho's Starship Troopers meets Moon meets Idiocracy, throwing the expanse in for good measure. Today is the day that Bong Joon-ho has graced us with another film, another great film. He has grown to be one of my favorite filmmakers in recent memory, and despite delivering another great film, it leaves a lot to be desired and isn't even close to being one of my favorite of his films. But let's get into it. In terms of this film's faults, the acting is most definitely not one of them. Robert Pattinson once again fucking proving that he is one of the most talented actors working today. Dual roles are hard to do, and we'll soon see if Michael B. Jordan in Sinners and Robert De Niro in Alto Nights can do them later on this year. But Theo James in The Monkey and Robert Pattinson here already make this a 2 out of 2 year for dual roles, pun intended. He manages to portray both Mickey 17 and Mickey 18, absolutely beautifully, and the interactions between the both of them and the two of them between other characters is marvelous. Having the printer actually give us the same person, but with slightly different variations in personality, is a great idea. I wish it could have been showcased better from a story standpoint, but hey, still a great performance. Next are the dictator couple of Kenneth Marshall and his wife, played by Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette. Ruffalo is a damn fine actor, an annoying prick, but a fine actor, and his performance most definitely reflects that. The actor part, not the annoying prick part. Although he is an annoying prick here too, so I guess it works. I know we've forgotten that he can actually act with his MCU excursions, but Bong Joon-ho is the man to remind us of his talents, much like Christopher Nolan was in terms of Robert Downey Jr.'s for Oppenheimer. I very much appreciated that Joon-ho didn't go down that certain route for Marshall's character, as he confirmed in interviews. I will just leave it at that. Ruffalo just played such a great, pathetic asshole that you can't help but absolutely love to hate him. Colette is the same way, but luckily she bobs and weaves shit franchises. So we've come to expect this from her. Not saying that's a bad thing, but Colette is also exceptional, but she usually is. So there's not much to say in that regard. Naomi Aki is also great, going between the excessive and obsessed girlfriend to badass soldier, just like that. Very engaging. I found her to be both really funny and a very endearing character, very well rounded in every respect. Steven Yeun, similar to Ruffalo, plays such a fucking great sack of shit. I I I just love that about him. It's very different from his more famous roles, with being Glenn from The Walking Dead and Invincible from Invincible. I appreciate that from him. It showcases that he has range and can do more than those like goody two shoes kind of roles. Not goody two shoes, but like more like nicer characters than this one, who's like almost a second rate bad guy. Michael Monroe, Patsy Farron, Cameron Bitton, or Cameron Britton. Sorry about, or is it Cameron Bitton or Britton? I don't even remember. Anna Maria Vartolome and others are the supporting cast, and they are all relatively good. However, Vartolome as Kai was a bit bland, though. But outside of that, great stuff. The music was brilliant, done once again by the great Jung Jae-il on their third collaboration with Bong Joon-ho after Okja and Parasite. Very operatic and epic feel, had a very operatic and epic feel that I loved, as opposed to his very like creepy fucking score for Parasite. I think this guy is gonna become even greater as time goes on, because he's shown his last two movies with Bong Joon-ho has just been great. But in terms of going from greatness to not so great, the pacing was not good. for the first half was a slog to get through. It felt like they were kind of meandering and had little direction to where they were going. It was just kind of like going through the motions. Um, at least that's what it felt like. But what saved it though, like once the second half hits, it got much better, leading to an exhilarating third act that I loved, despite some sound issues, which is ironic because all the other reviews I've seen for this have said that the third act is not very good. I don't know what their problem was. I fucking love the third act. I thought it was great. Um, but the editing, again, in the first half, mainly the first act, sucked. It started out in with 17, like we see him in the crevasse and he's like about to die by creepers. Then he's like, I remember how this all started. Then we went back and then it continued from that point. Then it went all the way back and then back to where we were, and then eventually inserting another initial flashback later on. It's like, bruh, who cut this? Edward Scissorhands? Goddamn! Like, why are we playing like shoots and ladders with this? Like, we're playing all these fucking mind games. It's like, just edit it like a movie, not a book. I understand this used to be a book, but like, you have to translate that to a visual medium that fucking makes sense. So, like, do that, please, rather than like, oh, let's do a book but in a movie form, but take the things that work in a book, but not in a movie, but make it into a movie. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. But however, after the first act, it's fine and comprehensible. So outside of that first act, it's pretty good. The sluggishness of the pacing kind of feeds into the editing in the first half, but the second half definitely improves upon a lot of stuff. But that's it for that. Now we get into the story. I think the main plot has been done many times before in regards to its themes and its main plotting, but Joon-ho manages to make it feel fresh and keep those concepts and ideas interesting. I think the first half, as I said, was a slog, but it wasn't bad. It was still fairly interesting, well written, and relatively engaging. Its themes have been done, but it still works. I liked the overall tone and style as it fits with Joon-ho's other films like The Host and Snowpiercer, blending strange and kooky comedy and satire with serious sci-fi ideas and character drama. I feel like there were some things missing, like some things that probably could have been explained, mainly again in the first act. It felt like a lot of necessary stuff was cut, like how there are differing personalities with each new incarnation of Mickey. I wanted them to like I wanted them to like showcase a little bit more in regards to that, because later on when me and my dad were talking about that in the car, my dad didn't realize that that was a thing. So he's like, "Why is Mickey 18 like such a prick, but Mickey 17 isn't?" I'm like, "Well, I think what they're trying to say is like the printer has like different personalities." And he's like, "Well, they should have explained that." And I kind of agree. Like, if you're confused by that, it should have at least been explained a little bit better. Um, but in terms of Mickey 17 versus Mickey 7, which is the book that it's based on, I wanted them to show more death. I wanted this fucking guy to die more times, because Joon-ho specifically made it so that Mickey dies 10 more times, but we don't see a lot of those deaths, which I was kind of disappointed by. It was mainly like the virus deaths that we saw, which wasn't bad. I just wanted to see this fucker die more times. All right. I don't know if that's too much to ask, but it just left me with wanting more. The second half, as I keep mentioning, is where things really started to happen, mainly the stuff with the dual role, the insanity of the villains, the plot with the creepers. It all started to come ahead, and it was all very exciting. But even then, I think the themes were well executed and threaded into the story nicely. Overall, this was a great movie. The first half does have a ton of issues, plotting, pacing, and editing wise, but the second half more than makes up for it with a great third act, amazing performances, great music, a bonkers plot, and well threaded themes and satire that makes it worth the price of admission alone. And with that, I give it an 8 out of 10. Now we move on to my buddy Rome. Take it away, sir.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is the first time, first film for Bong Joon-ho since Parasite's success 5 years ago. Mickey 17's by Warner Brothers, and and it's a Bong Joon-ho film, and they're invested in it, and they were hoping for a financial success. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a financial success, even though it's a good film. I thought, however, I thought Robert Pattinson did a great job with his range of performances as multiple Mickeys. Changing it, for example, 17 and 18 are very different in terms of how their voices and how one sounds like, I guess you could say Steve Buscemi, and the other one sounds like just different. You can tell he kind of gave them a little more personality to make the difference between 17 and 18. I really like that a lot from what Robert did, and he is the center of the movie. He is the star of this movie, and he does a fantastic job from the minute we see him to the very end, and he really charismatically, performancely, just very entertaining from beginning to end, and I really enjoyed his performance. Um, he and Robert Pattinson had a lot of fun playing a variety of different versions from Mickey, and some of the comedy was okay, but I thought Mickey 17 from the trailers made it very clear this was going to be a satire film. I thought Mark Ruffalo gave another solid performance, playing a hypocrite politician or a cult leader. There are moments where I thought like he was just a cult, just a cult leader. He had this big cult following who just, wanted to follow him wherever he went, and that's pretty much how a lot of people just followed him. It felt like he was inspired by Donald Trump and Elon Musk. You kind of see similarities with the character, which it worked very well for this movie. And June is known for putting a lot of socialism and a lot of things that's going on in the real world into a lot of his movies. And this is one of those movies that really has a lot of socialism in it, which I liked it. I had no issue with it. The rest of the performances, Naomi Ackie, Stephen Yeun, Tony Collette, Maria Bartolome, they were all solid performances. I thought the cinematography looked great. It was a very film spectacle, and I like a few good scenes like the dinner scene and any scene between Mickey and Timo. I thought they were really like they just had this. Robert Pattinson and Steve and you both had a really good chemistry together, and I really liked the back and forth between them. Whether it's 17 or 18, just the interaction was pretty fun. The movie kind of had a bit of a Starship Troopers inspiration, just the satire stuff. There's a little bit of that, propaganda. We're selling you this. You're gonna go and do this. It's kind of similar to Starship Troopers, in my opinion. Again, another satire film. The negativity, I could say, this could be the down, for audiences trying to see this movie. I think some or most don't want to see another political socialism film, which might turn some audience off, especially like Mark Ruffalo's character. Other than that, I thought that the biggest negativity was the runtime. It felt, a lot longer than what it was. It was, I think, a 2 hours 17 minutes, like John mentioned previously. It felt like a 2 hour and 30 minute movie. It just felt a lot of scenes were dragged out instead of just getting to the direct point. Bong does not know how to end this film. It felt like it had a lot of multiple endings before it actually ended. But if you like Bong's previous films like Parasite, Snowpiercer, I think you'll really enjoy Mickey 17 like I have. And despite the long runtime, I think this film will have a big cult following once it's on a streaming service. I think people who are not seeing this movie in theaters will see this when it goes somewhere on streaming, and the conversation with this will be much bigger when it's on a streaming service. And but my score for this movie is an 8 out of 10. I highly recommend to check it out in theaters.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am Cinematic Sterling 16, and original Cinematic Sterling was not here after facing multiple casualties, but I will deliver his trademark winger review. But this was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. Like most people, I've found out who I got introduced to Bong Joon-ho from his 2019 masterpiece, Parasite. And after I saw that movie, I was absolutely blown away, and I wanted to watch a lot more of his stuff, which eventually I did. I watched I watched the host, which I didn't love it like most people did. I I loved Memories of Murder. I really liked Snowpiercer. But Mickey 17 was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, not just because, it had a great cast and it was Bong Joon-ho, and I was curious on what he would do next, especially since this is his first movie since Parasite. And after like delay after delay after delay, I was happy to see this movie finally get released. And while it's no Parasite, I still really liked it. I still found it to be a damn good movie. It is very creative. There's a lot of really inventive ideas. Robert Pattinson is fantastic as Mickey. I actually didn't mind like that like wimpy like kind of like southern accent he had. He was a very likable character. I liked the idea of the disposables, like how the only reason like his job is just to die over and over and over again. And you kind of feel bad for him that he didn't like clearly look at the fine print, and now he's stuck in this situation. All the other actors do a really good job here as well. Stephen Yen, Mark Ruffalo, and Toni Collette play very like charismatic, entertaining assholes you just love to hate. Naomi Aki, I really liked her as his girlfriend Nasha. I think Pattinson did a great job with doing the dual roles very, very well. Like he plays the timid Mickey, and then there's the Mickey that's just a fucking asshole. I thought he did such a wonderful job with that. Because like what John was saying, doing dual roles can be very, very tricky, and you have to do them right. And I'm glad Pattinson did that. The effects here were very, very good. I thought the movie was fucking hilarious. Parasite like proved that Bong Joon-ho knows how to do a dark comedy. Here he once again excels because the dark humor here absolutely hits. And I don't know if people will probably look at me like I'm nuts, but I thought the creepers were actually fucking adorable. Like, holy shit! Like, I actually want one. Like, I want to get a plushie of one. Like, yeah, very funny. The score was fantastic. This composer, he did the score for Parasite, and he did the score for Squid Game. Both excellent scores. I think what kind of prevents me from loving this as much as I did Parasite is kind of like what John and Rome were saying. I did not think the pacing in this was that great. Even though, yes, this movie was 2 hours and 17 minutes, it felt a lot longer. There were points, especially in the first half, where it was just kind of the ending, it was just kind of a slog to sit through. Just scenes that just dragged on for like way too long. Maybe because I was tired after working a long shift at my job. I think that's starting to become my catchphrase at this point. But at certain points, like I felt I started to get a little bit like, oh, come on, let's move this along. Why is this taking so long? Why is this dragging on for so long? And I do wish we got a little bit. I kind of wish we got like a montage. Like we got to see Mickey die more. I mean, that's his job. His job is to die. Like I wanted just a montage of him dying over and over and over again, kind of like in Groundhog Day, where Bill Murray was just killing himself over and over and over again just to get out of waking up over and over again. because I think like the potential like to do those kinds of deaths, especially since this is in the future, would have been great. Like have him be decapitated, have him freeze to death, have him get burned alive, or maybe I don't know, have him get sucked down to space and he suffocates. The possibilities were there. I wish we got to see I wish we got to see more of that. I don't know if there's maybe like a longer cut and stuff was just trimmed out. But if there are deleted scenes, I think it would be nice to see those. And like with all cool kid streams, like we always try to avoid discussion of politics. But I will absolutely admit the comparisons with Mark Ruffalo to you know who was very obvious, and not gonna lie, it made me feel weird and kind of uncomfortable at points. Like, all right, Bong, we get it. You're not subtle. But social commentary is what he does best. I mean, look at what he did. Look at what he did with Parasite. Yeah, that had excellent social commentary. But overall, I would say, yeah, I'd say Mickey 17 is a damn good movie. It didn't disappoint. Is it like one of his best movies? Is it another like perfect like 5 out of 5 movie from him? No, it's not. But it's still damn good. And I wish, in a day and age where franchise movies are always the ones that make the big money, we need to, honestly, in like remakes are the ones that make the big money. Let's go out and support original movies. Let's give those money. And it's a shame because my theater for this wasn't really packed. I don't know. That kind of shocked me because, I mean, this dude's a fucking Oscar winner. I thought, like, maybe people would be on his radar on other people's radar anymore, but I guess not. Support movies like this. Bong Joon-ho, you are the man. We love you here on the Cool Kids. Just thank you for always being as creative and innovative as always. And I would give this a very solid 8 out of 10.
Mark, you're muted.
Son of a fucking bitch. Oh, well, start over. You're right. Hi. Bong Joon-ho could have done anything after Parasite, a film that I feel is personally one of the best picture winners, and one of the best picture winners, and then I have seen them all, literally. So he could have played it safe and did a studio film, say a big blockbuster. Instead, he chose to give us what is essentially a big budget indie movie, a sci-fi dark comedy that turned out to be one of the most unique and original films I've seen in a very long time. And I appreciate his massive balls in doing that. Robert Pattinson plays Mickey Barnes, a down-on-his-luck small-time thief on the run from a vicious and ruthless loan shark who volunteers for the first thing that will allow him to get off planet to one of the colonies of Niflheim, clearly inspired by an ice planet, clearly inspired by by Viking lore, which fits in with the themes of the film, as we'll see later. Unfortunately, and he signs up for the first thing that will allow him to get off planet. Said thing, unfortunately for him, turns out to be the Expendables program, something that he doesn't even read the fine print for, hilariously, which, It reminds me a bit of the South Park episode on the human centipede. If you've ever seen that, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So always read the fine print. But he didn't even bother to read it, despite his protestations to the contrary. And he winds up in this Expendables program run by the dictatorial leaders of the colony, the twin sort of this couple who's sort of a dictator, Mark Ruffalo and Tony Collette's Kenneth and Ilfa Marshall, I think is her name. Alpha. It's YLFA. Ilfa, whatever the fuck it is. Tony Collette and Mark Ruffalo. But and run by them. And in this program, the person, now known as Mickey 1, will be used as a human guinea pig and then reprinted using a life-size biological 3D printer. He is literally treated as an expendable. He literally is. And we see a montage of deaths in him and just the way he is, just to give us an idea of the way he is treated. And his only respite in this, his only solace in this is his faithful girlfriend, Nasha, played very capably by Naomi Ackie. He runs through 16 of these brutal deaths before surviving in his 17th version, making his way home only to wake up next to his multiple, Mickey 18, who had already been printed on the assumption that he was dead. Problem is, this is actually highly illegal and is punishable by death for both of them. So the themes of this movie span the gamut, from class conflict to the implications of technology and human cloning, to racism and to democracy versus dictatorship. He even throws in a bit of Jekyll and Hyde, with Mickey 17 and 18 exhibiting starkly different personalities, a testament to Robert Pattinson's amazing acting prowess, which is on full display here. And because he really does an amazing job. Matter of fact, my first thought after the movie was this man, one of my thoughts watching the movie was this man deserves to be nominated for a Best Actor Oscar for next year. I mean, if they do, they just totally overlook this film. But we get other amazing performances as well. Of course, Mark Ruffalo, this might be the best I've seen him in a long time. It's at the very least the best I've seen him in a very long time. Reminds us that, these MCU actors, as we were saying before the show, that these MCU actors, a lot of them really can't act. Mark Ruffalo is not a bad actor. He's just in a really bad franchise of playing what has become, sadly, a really bad character. Even though, Incredible Hulk is one of my all-time favorites, which hurts. But anyway, here he is really fantastic. And about the influences for his Kenneth Marshall, this politician, both he and Mark Ruffalo have spoken about this. Mark Ruffalo is the one who mentioned, Rump, the orange turd that we won't talk about. But and you could see that in his performance. But Bong Joon-ho says that in writing it, he was more inspired by the idea of dictators in general, specifically dictatorial couples in general, where you had a couple who formed dictators, such as the Nicolae Ceausescu and his wife in Romania. He also mentioned, the Marcoses, Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos in the Philippines. I thought of course, he didn't mention this, but I thought of Perón and his wife, Evita Perón, in Juan and Evita Perón in Argentina. So just that idea, because Tony Collette, it seemed to me, was channeling more like a Hillary Clinton-esque vibe there. So, but I mean, there was but either way, it worked. More than one thing can be true. He might have taken that inspiration for his performance. My only thing I would say it would have fit better if it were inspired more like, say, Elon Musk. More like the idea of these, one of these billionaire industrialists or billionaire capitalists who just kind of get a big head and kind of think they can do whatever they want, because that's a very old story. That's nothing new. So, but It's a very fascinating film. He explores many different themes here. The whole Jekyll and Hyde thing, like I said, going on with Mickey 17 and Mickey 18, we're talking about, okay, why did they have different personalities? And it occurred to me that what he's saying there is that personality is not determined solely by DNA. It is also shaped by our experiences. And I think Mickey 18 felt more confident because he knew 17 was not supposed to be alive. So I think he just kind of felt that he kind of fell into that role of being more confident and dominant, whereas Mickey 17 felt, more, weak, so he's kind of the weak, timid one, whereas Mickey 18 is the bold, brash, more self-confident one, so I think he's kind of saying that it's also shaped by our personalities are also shaped by our experiences, which fits with what we know by the brain, because we know the brain is much more what they call the plasticity of the brain. The ability of the brain to adapt is a lot greater than we had assumed previously. So, I mean, your person, let's face it, we change throughout our lives. It's not like we're just one person. So, I mean, you could be different people at different moments even, so, I mean, but that's the way I read it anyway. That's the way I read it anyway, that our personalities are not determined solely by our DNA, that the 3D printing can only go so far, so that we do have a choice. It seems to me that's what it's saying. We do have a choice. So, but the end, by the way, was really fantastic. There's even a bit of environmentalism in there, of course, with the creepers, which was really fantastic. I love what they did with the creepers. The creepers were really fantastic. I'm with John. The third act was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. So it was terrific, but I thought it was really, really good. So, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. So I'm going to stick with it. This is perfect 10 out of 10 for me. I didn't feel the lag at all, honestly. I did not feel bored. Matter of fact, I'm surprised it was that long. I thought it was only like an hour and a half, maybe a little under 2 hours. So I really loved it that much. So, yeah. Yes, me in the driver's seat. Me.
Yeah. It's something I forgot to mention, though, during my initial review, that I want to mention now, but I felt that, have you ever watched something, a movie, a TV show, whatever the fuck, where you're watching it and you're like, this is funny. I recognize it's funny. I like it that it's funny, but you're not laughing. That's how I was throughout most of this movie. I'm like, this is a funny movie. I like how it's funny. It's a comedic movie. I like the comedy. Why am I not laughing out loud? For instance, the movie Riff Raff with Pete Davidson, Bill Murray, and Ed Harris. Not that great of a movie, but it was so funny that I'm like, the comedy makes it better. But I'm like, this is a great movie. I know it's funny. Why am I not laughing? I don't know if anybody else had that. The only joke I laughed out loud for when Toni Collette was looking at the creepers and they're like, they don't even look like aliens. They look like croissants covered in shit. Just the way she said that was so funny. I laughed out loud, but the rest of it, I'm like, and there were a couple or chuckles or nose exhales, but this is funny, but I'm like, why am I not laughing? I was kind of angry with myself. Why don't I find this funnier? And why am I not laughing out loud?
I was laughing.
So what the funny thing is, I was the only person in my theater that was laughing at all the comedy scenes.
Yeah, I was laughing a lot too.
I'm the only one that actually thinks this movie is funny. What the? Am I on another planet or something?
Sorry, Rome, you go first, then Mark, because he started.
I was going to say there's a lot of good one-liners in that movie. There's something's dropped and it just worked. Yeah.
Mark, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say that. Well, shit, I forgot what I was going to fucking say now. Oh, no, I was just going to say that, yeah, I do that a lot. I mean, I was laughing a lot in the theater. I mean, Kaylee can tell you that. I was laughing a lot. I mean, but I do that a lot where sometimes, I mean, there's different levels of funny. You know,
Yeah.
so there's something you recognize. Okay, that's funny. I mean, it amuses you. You smile, maybe laugh inside. You know, but I mean, you may not laugh out loud, but you still recognize it as funny. It's still amusing. You know, so you still like it, you respect it, but it maybe doesn't give a chuckle out loud. It takes a lot for me to actually laugh out loud. You know, so I mean, I like an uncontrollable laugh. Yeah, that really kind of does. Yeah.
It's kind of like it's like in that episode of King of the Hill where the teacher's trying to explain like comedy to Bobby. He's like, so see, there's the ha. The ha is followed by the guffaw, and then there's the aw, and then finally the ha ha.
Oh,
I get it.
I was going to say that as far as the inspiration, two of those can be true. You know, Ruffalo might have took inspiration for that for his performance.
Yeah,
and Bong Joon-ho might have taken inspiration from.
I was gonna say that, like, Bong Joon-ho specifically said he's like, to be fair, this was shot like 3 years ago. This was way before, and so there is that as well. So it's entirely possible Mark Ruffalo took notes from that, but Bong Joon-ho specifically said, and this is what I found to be interesting, was he was like the commentary I was going for. He was like, I went with a lot of politicians and dictators over the course of history that I took inspiration from, and two of them was, I actually wrote them here because I didn't want to forget them. And obviously Mark is going to know who the fuck I'm talking about. The Ceausescu couple from Romania and the Marcos couple from the Philippines, because he wanted to know the couples, because he's like, I think that's a much more interesting dynamic of a dictator couple than one guy. So that's what I found
really more interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it is because I mean Toni Collette added a lot to this, you know, because I mean I love the dynamic that
it was great.
I thought she was really good. Yeah, they had a really great dynamic going on there because she was the brains of the outfit. So, but yeah, I mean they both gave a really great performance. Toni Collette is great in fucking anything. I mean, Jesus Christ, you just put her in something.
That's not even
fucking run with it. But I mean, she's great. I mean, I honestly just did not feel the runtime. I really liked it. I was enjoying myself.
I know. I was considering going back and watching it again today, but I had some stuff to do that I couldn't. But I still really liked it. It was great, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed by it, because I was so excited for this movie. And I think for me personally, out of all the films I've seen from Bong Joon-ho, this is probably my second least favorite from him, which is saying a lot because I gave it an 8 out of 10. The only one I found weaker was The Host. I'm one of the few people that didn't love it as much. Like, it's a good movie, but everyone's like, oh my God, this is the greatest fucking thing ever. And I watch it, I'm like, it's fine. It's okay. It's like a 6 out of 10.
That's the worst thing you could ever say to John. Never tell John something is the best thing ever. He's not going to like it.
Yeah. It's 9 times out of 10. I don't, but there is the few times where it's like, this is really good. And then I'm like, okay, this is really good.
You did with the Artifice Girl. You did with the Artifice Girl.
That is true. But I really, I think my favorite from him is probably Memories of Murder. I really, really fucking love that movie. I don't know why, just everything about it was just so fucking good. And then Parasite's excellent. Snowpiercer's really good. Mother, not the Jennifer Lawrence movie, South Korean Mother, fucking great, way better than the Jennifer Lawrence fucking movie, even though they're two entirely different plots. They just share the same title. Great movie. The only movies of his I have not seen are Okja and Barking Dogs Don't Bite, which was his directorial debut, but I've heard great things about both.
I haven't seen Okja, Mother, or Barking Dogs Never Bite. They're on my watch list, but I love Parasite. I love Memories of Murder. I like Snowpiercer. I had fun with The Host. It's not like you were saying. It's not as John. It's not as great as everyone says it is, but it's still
it's good.
A fun
like
time.
I give it like a solid 6 out of 10. Like, it's not bad, but it's it's a decent effort.
I think I gave because I watched it for one of my Halloween marathons, and I gave it like a 7.
But it's still good, and I still love like most like Memories of Murder, Parasite are like at the very least close to a 10 out of 10, like 9.5 at least. And then I would say Memories of Murder is probably 10 out of 10 for me. I would say Parasite's a 9.5. And then Snowpiercer I'd give like an 8.5 maybe. The Secret Willy Wonka sequel. I don't know if anybody else has watched that video, but great video. But yeah, I've just really like it. I would say he's probably top 5 filmmakers, modern, well, I guess quote unquote modern filmmakers for me. Well, the trifecta for me is Eggers, Flanagan, and Perkins, but I would say he's probably number 4 or number 5. But yeah, I thought the satire was well done. I thought that I just wish it was better paced and better edited. But outside of that, it's so good. And I loved I fucking love like the creeper where she was like, I will make your heads explode. Like
Hey,
with the fucking noise.
Did you guys get a Dune vibe with those creatures? Creepers?
I can kind of see it.
Yeah,
a little.
There
Yeah, a
are
little bit.
creeper plushies though, because I remember Bong
Yeah.
Joon-ho doing an interview. I think it was with Stephen Colbert. He was holding like a plushie, and it was a creeper. So I assume that the plushies are out there. So letting you guys know.
I did like the scene towards the end where where Mickey's talking to the creeper, and he caught their bluff. But how if you scream so loud, your eyes will bleed.
Yeah.
And they kind of they try to basically saw that they were just lying that entire time. They're like, oh, okay, you guys can lie like us.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a pretty good line.
Yeah, that was nice. I like that the creepers had an actual personality. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I thought that was just the sweetest thing in them delivering him up. You know, and he's just like, "What? You don't think I'm good enough?" He's upset he didn't eat him. He's like, "Come on,
Yeah, that was great.
Whenever Mickey started making that fucking noise, I was dying.
Oh my god, man! Oh god, he's so damn good in this. Jesus.
Yeah, the scene with the scientist when he's doing that sound, and she's like, "Oh, you know their language," and he's like, "No, I just make the sound," and there's a dialogue between the two of them was really good too.
Yeah, I liked Patsy
was very
Farron's
fun.
character. I
Yeah.
liked her a lot. She kind of reminded me of Moaning Myrtle a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I like it definitely had an alien vibe, definitely had like kind of a RoboCop vibe. Like anything with like really good like anti-corporation satire. It's done before, and again, any like Paul Verhoeven movie, like any American movie of his, the trifecta of Total Recall, RoboCop, and Starship Troopers. This feels very like Paul Verhoeven-esque, but like not like copying what he did, just like kind of that like vibe. Because it was like the whole thing of like us going to the aliens, how it makes us the aliens, and the aliens, the bugs it's their world, and they're treated as like less than, even though they're an intelligent species. Although this had a much more hopeful ending than Starship Troopers. But I have yet to see Starship Troopers, but I've seen most of it. Like I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've seen like most of it.
This movie had a lot of like I want to say I compared it to it, but there's a lot of like similarities with like the propaganda, making fun of the bullshit politics, and especially the scene where like how Mickey got involved in like this whole mission to the next planet, how Earth was just going to shit, and like with Starship Trooper, a lot of it just had to get in because like the world was going to hell, and they were selling this propaganda bullshit, just like what Marshall was doing in this movie, selling this giant propaganda that just was bullshit.
Oh, the multiples are of the devil. That
kind
of thing.
I'm pro-life, everybody, but no, I'm not. Fuck this guy, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
just catering to the right people and whatnot. It definitely like also like kind of remind me of Idiocracy, as I mentioned early on in my review. Although to be fair, I will say Terry Crews was a better leader than Kenneth Marshall was here, so there is that. I haven't seen Idiocracy, so I forget but he had like a fucking weird ass name. But Terry Crews' character in that. but yeah, I liked honestly everything about the movie was great. Like except for the things I mentioned, like with the editing and pacing. Maybe I need to see it again when I'm a little bit more awake. I don't know, but yeah,
I feel
I
like
don't.
this. I'm sorry, John. I feel like this
No,
is a
no,
movie you would have to watch. I'm planning to watch a second time
I
when
want
it's
to
up
watch it a
somewhere.
second time.
I feel like
Yeah.
there's a lot that I missed that like the little details or little things that people would miss. When you watch it the second time, you'll kind of clearly see where it's going, and it's a much better like watch than the first time.
Yeah. I definitely, I have a definitely feeling that it'll get better with multiple um rewatches.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's a hell of a film. I mean, that says a lot about it's there's a lot to unpack here. Actually, I think I mean, because he said a lot about there's like I said, there's different class conflict because you have with like the Ceausescu's or the Marcoses. Historically, these couples have typically lived on high. Like
Yeah.
the Imelda Marcos had like a freaking literal like warehouse full of shoes.
Right.
Ridiculous. I mean, she never wore the same shoes twice. Like, damn.
Yeah.
And whereas the masses are living in the most abject poverty,
Right.
Right.
I mean, and
these
you had
leaders.
this here because I mean, and you had with Mickey, it kind of as a stand-in for the working class. He's treated as literal expendable. He's literally called an expendable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, he has no dignity whatsoever. I mean, they're just like they're treating this guy. There's as this. They used to develop a freaking nerve agent. I mean,
Yeah.
he's curing.
He dies
cancer.
5 times because of the same
Yeah.
virus.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And they're not even developing what they told him they were developing from him. Not some kind of cure all, but a nerve agent, something to kill with. I mean, geez, it reminded me of a lot of experimentation on African Americans in the 20th century.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, like
I
the
mean, you
woman
also had
Henrietta Lacks, the woman for whose DNA they took, and the black woman whose DNA they took, and from whom they extracted all this knowledge from it. But but I mean, it reminds me a lot of that. There's a lot to unpack there.
It's always like that's always the case with dictatorships. Like these people who have all this power, they're living the high life, and all of their citizens are living in like the worst fucking conditions possible, and they're too scared to complain or say anything because they die.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, Kaylee and I were talking last night, and I just noticed, and she did too, that there was really a kind of a gender role reversal going on there between Nasha and Mickey, because he was more like the stay-at-home husband, not the stay-at-home husband still, but she was.
Yeah, we know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, like, he always helped her get dressed, and she was going out and be big badass, I mean? So, and she wound up, of course, being a counselor at the end or whatever they called it, on the council. But I do love that how, they showed how it wasn't a completely happy ending because, I mean,
Yeah.
they do show that he destroys the 3D printer and everything. Although, it shows that they're still not getting along on the council, So, I mean, it's still left up as like, we don't really know what's going to happen here. So, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I was just saying it's not
More
really like
realistic,
a happy ending, but it's like more hopeful than like the
exactly.
the dictatorship ones. I mean, like it doesn't totally win here. It just
but just saying
does.
it's a little more realistic is saying, I mean, it's not perfect. Democracy isn't perfect, but it's at least better,
Right.
than a dictatorship. So
I did love the little moment where he's in like the little machine and she's in like the little like the hazmat outfit, just comforting him. That was such a cute moment.
Yeah, that was really good. I liked their relationship. She seemed a little bit too like obsessive, but like at the same time it like kind of worked. I don't know if you guys felt the same way about Kai as I did. I just felt like she was just kind of boring.
I don't really understand what her point was.
There was nothing really for her to do, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't know if she was particularly the
That
love
was-
triangle they were trying to do, because she had a
Yeah.
thing for Mickey as well. They just didn't go too further with it, because once like Mickey's gone, Mickey 18's gone or died, we never hear what happens next. The next, she's back to dating another girl again or whatever. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
so because I don't know, there seemed there was something going on. There's something missing between because she really liked Mickey 17.
Yeah, she did. So I mean, but
That's
I mean,
what
I think for her, I think it was just like it seemed to me that it was just like a moment of vulnerability for her because she had just lost her friend, and everything. So
And speaking of, I'm curious what your guys' thoughts about it, because my dad was like totally like, yeah, she was, and I'm like, it's kind of implied, but it's not totally how she was gay, but like I thought it was like kind of implied that she was maybe bi because she was interested in Mickey, but at the same time she was really, really heartbroken about her friend. But my dad was like, oh yeah, she was totally gay. I'm like, I don't know if it was like 100% that, but if
she literally proposed a throuple, I think, didn't she?
I think so.
She
I
did.
think it was like more like, oh, she
did,
was bi. I don't think she was fully gay though.
Yeah, no, I don't think she was
She's
getting,
bi.
but I mean, I think she was more like bi, but I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
more just like fluid in her sexuality.
Because she
Yep,
tells, she tells what's her name? Naomi's character, Nasha. Hey, you take 18, I'll take 17. Like right then and there, she had a real thing for 17.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
Even
think and to be fair, she was kind of more interested in a little bit in in 18 because of how habanero he was. Thought that was really funny. She's
Yeah.
like, "This is Mickey. This is Mickey Mud. This is Mickey Hop." I love that whole scene of
Oh, so
when they were
funny.
fucking high on the his kites.
Yeah,
That was
funny.
great.
Was it who was it? What movie is it you compared this one to? Said it remind you of
Oh, Starship Troopers, because of like the satire and like just the amount of
Oh,
like
some
yeah,
of that too.
definitely.
Yeah. And honestly, I think the kind of industrial look of feel had a little bit of Alien in it because
Oh,
not
yeah,
in the
definitely
sense of the
Alien.
horror, but that kind of industrial look of feel of the
Yeah.
ship. Yeah, very much an Alien.
I mean,
vibe.
that movie was anti-corporation too.
Oh, yeah, very
that
much.
makes sense. Like that kind of
Mhm.
like the trucker blue collar vibe of Alien was definitely present here, which I really liked as well.
Yeah.
But then you also had the Alien side of like the militaristic aspects as well. Not as prevalent as Aliens, but still kind of there. But yes, Starship Troopers was definitely the big one there. And I was like, even though I'm like, wow, this is very obvious, but I'm like, you know what? It still felt like
it's still fresh.
it still felt
Yeah.
fresh, as I mentioned. It still felt like it was like that. That's why I don't, because I mean, and Mark says this all the time. No fucking idea is original anymore. Nothing
Yeah,
is fucking
it is.
original anymore.
Yeah.
But
I
as
think that's
long
what I
as
really
you can
appreciate
still
about
tell
it,
an
yeah.
interesting story with it,
Mhm.
that's all I care about.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is cliched. Of like sometimes when something is cliched is when you have those same tropes over and over again, but
Mhm.
it's like just note for note something else without
Yeah.
doing your own thing with it. Like that's
Yeah.
when you notice it's cliched. This isn't cliched because
No.
Bong Joon-ho does something that Edward Ashton did in his book, but made it his own and made it
Exactly.
his own adaptation. So that's why it works. So when I say, oh, this is cliche, this is generic, this is bland, because they don't do anything with it. They don't do any, it doesn't feel new, it doesn't feel well written, it doesn't feel inventive, despite these ideas we've gotten in movies for the past century, but in media, literature, any stories for centuries, millennia, that like hit literally the hero's journey, like that's still being used today. That's fucking centuries old, yet we're
Right.
still getting that because it's a timeless story. So as long as you could do like at least attempt to do something intriguing with it, then I'm all for it. But
I mean, the movie is based on an actual book. called
yeah,
Mickey
no, I
7.
know it's
Yeah.
Mickey 7, yeah, by Edward Ashton. But
Yeah. Mickey 17. It's called Mickey 17.
even because I think even I was noticing like in the book, I think in the book it's like definitely more well stated on like the printer, like how it works.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a book; they can get away with that. It's a movie.
Yeah.
This is you're you're stuck in it for like 2 to 3 hours. You can only do so much. So, but even then, it's still great and it still works. And Robert Pattinson, man, that dude. I don't know if this is the best performance I've seen of him. It's definitely up there. It's probably top 3 at least. But I think it's hard for me to say The Lighthouse because I am a little bit biased, but at the same time, he also shared screen time with Willem Dafoe, who gave one of the best performances I have ever seen ever. So that's kind of like, it's hard for me to like kind of be like, well, he gave a great performance, but it's also he was with Willem Dafoe, who gave an extraordinarily exceptional performance. So that's a little hard to gauge, but this is definitely up there. I really like Naomi Ackie. I don't know if I know she was in, I think, Blink Twice, but that's the only thing I've known her from, I think.
Blink Twice was very good.
Oh, yeah,
I know
very
that.
good.
I know that was really good. But I would like to if this is anything to go by, then cool. I'm all for her future career. I don't know what she's done. I hate to like be like, oh, future career we get. She's done like 200 movies or something like that. I don't want it to seem like that, but I look forward to her in more projects because I thought she was great here.
I know I do, but in terms of my favorite Robert Pattinson performances, even though I don't like Tenet, I really liked him in that movie. Of course, he's great in The Lighthouse, and he was really good in Good Time. And I fucking love him as Batman. He was such a good Batman.
I think he's good. I think he's a good Batman. Yeah.
And
I thought his Bruce Wayne was a little lacking, but that wasn't his fault. That was just the writing. Because
and he was the Heron in Boy the Heron.
Yep. Although I didn't see that version, I saw the Japanese version. I didn't realize it until I checked my ticket again. I'm like, oh, it looks like I'm seeing the Japanese version. So I have yet to see the English dub of that, but I'll take your word for it.
I had no idea that was him until I was seeing the credits. Like, the holy shit! Robert Pattinson was the Heron. I couldn't even tell that was him.
Yeah, I know, right?
For me, it's good.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rose.
I was gonna say, for me, his best performance is still Good Times. He was phenomenal.
Oh, I've heard he's excellent, but I haven't seen it, so I can't.
The other one I'll say,
The
Revolver. The Revolver. It's an older Western movie he did with Joel Engerhart back in the day. It's really good. He was really good in that. I'll say Mickey 17. I think will be his third. You could make it 2 or 3, but it's really, it's up there as like a top 3, top 5 performance.
Yeah, definitely.
I think say Lighthouse, The Batman, or whatever movie that he's done recently that you can make a case for.
Yeah, I think he's just done so much good stuff at this point. It's just like, if you're still on the fucking Twilight shit, like, where the fuck have you been for the last 20 fucking years? Like, goddamn, get over yourself. Like, bro has done, like, it's like both him and Daniel Radcliffe both were in huge book franchises and now are just doing the weirdest fucking shit. And it's just like, whatever. And I love that. I fucking love that for the both of them.
I mean, I'm not trying to compare him to Heath Ledger or anything, but like Heath Ledger, when he did a lot of teen movies, he did the same thing that Pattinson and Daniel Radcliffe did, just jump in a lot of like indie movies, doing a lot of weird stuff, just really trying to show his like credibility, and then came back and did a franchise movie. Unfortunately, he passed after that. But like, I feel like Robert Pattinson and Radcliffe and some of these actors who did a lot of these teenage movies or franchises when they were younger, they're just like, I got to do these independent movies. I got to work with a lot of interesting directors and really just show what I can do. And get just you guys, just so people can see I'm not a teen actor, or I'm not this typecast character.
Yeah.
There's a rumor going around that Daniel Radcliffe is supposed to be Clayface.
James Gunn debunked that. That's already bullshit. Already old news. He debunked that. That's not happening.
I mean, that is stupid. I mean, Daniel Radcliffe made Warner Bros. So much fucking money. It's like you're gonna tell the guy who played Harry Potter not to play in this movie. Like, what's wrong with you? You need something for Clayface.
No, I think they will get somebody great for Clayface. It's just like it was just like I'll go on like a fucking 30-minute rant about this motherfucker. I fucking hate fucking Jeff Snyder so much. I fucking hate that prick. Like, It's just like because he just like says shit. He just says shit. He's like, yeah, throws dart at dartboard. Daniel Radcliffe is gonna be in the upcoming Clayface movie. Like, bro, it's like the most trust me, bro, shit I've ever fucking seen. It's like, and he just says shit. Oh, from an insider. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. It's like fucking ridiculous. Like, I'm just so sick. Grace Randolph, they can all suck a dick. Like, fuck scoopers. Fuck those guys. They can eat the biggest dong imaginable. Just get a big gummy worm shaped like a giant penis and just shove it down their fucking throat so they can fucking eat it. Because fuck all of them.
Is a music equivalent to "We Got This Covered." It's Alternative Nation.
Oh God, yeah. I remember we know the thing is I haven't seen a "We Got This Covered" article in like 3 years. I think people are finally like, yeah, nobody fucking shares this. The new, however, "We Got This Cover" World of Real. For all 0 of you watching right now, because I fucking see the little thing up here and nobody's watching, but for everybody,
guys,
for every future people.
We had 150 subscribers, man. I mean, come on, like, we're cool.
I think people catch us after the fact, but even then, don't trust World of Real. That dude makes shit up. Like that was where the fucking Captain America: Brave New World went through 6 months of reshoots. That was the one that propagated the whole it has a $400 million budget, and that was the bullshit where the fucking test screening shit came from. So don't believe World of Real. That's a fucking bullshit site. They make up shit. They plagiarize Reddit like posts. Don't fucking trust World of Real. They're fucking idiots. The guy behind it's a knucklehead. Don't trust them either. So if you see a World of Real article, don't share it. Don't talk about it. They make shit up. So don't trust them either. Sorry. I have some kind of platform. Stop spreading misinformation. Spread the truth. In the internet where everything is misinformation, try to be a little bit better. That's all I say.
Exactly.
The more you know. Do, 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 do.
Yeah, we don't have that clip, but it's fine.
I'll download it.
Do that. But yeah, sorry, that was a bit of a side rant. I apologize, but I do this shit for a living, so I gotta like make sure like we're discussing truth stuff. But
especially with your job, you and you're reporting on news, you got to make sure that news is actually accurate.
Because I say because the thing with Jeff Snyder, the thing that he also propagated all the bullshit Captain America: Brave New World crap.
He also said Superman's actually terrible, according to
it's terrible. But then like two days later, no, it's the greatest thing ever. Oh no, it's like just stop talking, bro. Just shut get the pen and teller. Shut the fuck up and then get William Shatner. Get a life. Get a life.
Or get Orlok. Sorry.
I'll go into your thing for that one, but yeah.
Yeah, he said it was like it's compared to Captain America: First Avenger and The Mummy, and I'm like, those are two good movies. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
there's my background for the Hangouts.
Yeah, I was gonna grab your clip, but I couldn't find it, so it's fine. It's fine. Anyway,
that's under the shut up section.
Okay, but I don't think we have anything more to say. I don't believe so.
What is
really good?
It's excellent. Go watch it.
Really good. Check it out.
Very good.
Check it out. Not a whole lot of good movies in March. Maybe The Sinners comes out later this month, but this is a movie I would say check out now. I mean, it does live up to what the trailer shows you.
I think so. It was slightly disappointing for me personally, but it's still a great movie. But even then, I'm with Rome. I would say this is one of those things you probably got to watch again. And then on top of the fact, it's still great. And with that, go watch it. Go support your theaters. Go, get all the snacks, get all the popcorn buckets, I saw this in Dolby too, by the way. I saw I got a free upgrade thanks to my AMC Stubs A-list. but we're not doing the thing, Devin. Don't get your fucking Regal Unlimited out.
Like,
But
sorry,
that's
John,
it. But that's it for today. Next up, we have Looney Tunes, The Day the Earth Blew Up, as our next review. I don't know when that's gonna be. That is next week. Okay, I thought it was maybe this week, but next week, and that's gonna be reviewed hosted by Rob, the right dude.
Oh wait, we got to give Rob's rating.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
Yes, sorry about that, Rob. Well, he didn't give a review, so I can't really say anything for that. But he did give it, same with everybody else here except Mark. He gave it an 8 out of 10 on Letterboxd. So yeah, sorry about that, Rob. But yeah.
I gotta be me. I gotta be me.
But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, peace out. Thank you. We love each and every one of you that has watched.
Later.
And remember, shit covered croissants.
Once again, we have brought light into the world. You're welcome.